Tonight, everybody, I have a beer from the great state of Minnesota. It is from Modist Brewing Company, which I've had a few of their beers. I don't know if we've had one on stream before, but I know I've checked in a couple. We are having Forgotten Colors from 2023, I guess. That's how old this beer is. It's a pineapple, prickly pear, lime, tropical fruited sour. I like fruited sours. I like pineapple. I think I like prickly pear. And lime is all right. And yeah, that's what we're going to have. I remember when we were out in, what's the name of the place that we went? When we were out in Phoenix, there was a lot of prickly pear stuff. Okay, the camera is live. Cool. Like, prickly pear is obviously, like, it grows there. It's common. And so, like, a lot of stuff is made with it. But I really don't know if I remember the flavor of it that well. I got, like, a prickly pear beer, though, for our Airbnb. This just straight up smells like pineapple juice. I mean, that's not a bad thing. It smells really good. I hope I didn't have to roll a can. It's oddly see-through. I guess it's not a smoothie sour. It's just a fruited sour. Here we go. Now some of the colors coming in. Maybe I should have rolled the can, chat. I'm worried there's just going to be a crap ton of gunk in the bottom of this can. Yeah, it definitely looks more like a smoothie now. Okay, there's a little more. I might not pour that in here, though. There's like a layer of goop suspended on top of this beer. I don't even know if the light is going to be able to cut through it. Not quite. It started out very light. Like, very clear. I mean, that still looks good. But, yeah, it looks pretty thick, which sometimes is very good. Let me grab a picture. Yeah, that'll work. So, Forgotten Colors. They made a version of this in 2020 as well. This is the 2023 variant, I guess. I think the 2021 had different fruits. So this is the tropical one. And this is what Untappd has to say about it. It says, tropical fruited sour, brewed with malted barley, Pilsner malt, then conditioned on fresh prickly pear, pineapple, and lime juice. It has a 6% ABV, average rating of 3.8, and only 343 ratings. So pretty low, pretty rare, I guess, if that's the word I want to use. And let's try it out. I'm a little nervous. I got to drink through this fog on the top of it. It does just look like a fruit smoothie. But cheers, everyone. I'm surprised it's not a smoothie sour, actually. It just smells like pineapple juice. A little sweeter than just pineapple juice, I guess. That's pretty good. I'm surprised it's not as sour as I thought. When I first was sipping that, I was like, oh no, this is going to be harsh. It's not. That's actually really, really good. This is one of those beers. It does not taste like beer at all. It is a very, the thickness it does feel like I'm just drinking like an Orange Julius smoothie. Brews Reviews is the full government name. Is a dinking test. I'm not sure what you're asking. It's not a drinking test either. God knows I'm from Wisconsin. If it's a drinking test, I'm gonna pass. We review beers. BT and I, welcome in. I'm doing well. I'm drinking a beer. I can't complain. Welcome in. My name is Blue. I like to review beers. Blues Brews reviews every Monday at 7 p.m. Central. So yeah, this is the beer we're having today. Forgotten Colors. It was out of Minneapolis. Modist Brewing out of Minneapolis. I'm a fan, guys. It is really thick. It does just feel like I said, like an Orange Julius fruit smoothie, which, again, this is one of those where it's like the category is so far removed from a stereotypical beer, but all sours are. I think once you get into fruited sour territory, it's like you gotta forget everything in your mind about what a beer tastes like. I really like the pineapple. It almost tastes like, and maybe this is the prickly pear. It's possible that this flavor that I can't quite place is prickly pear. It kind of, you taste the pineapple right away, and then there's some other sweetness attached to there that kind of rounds out. You know, like if you had to imagine what like the flavor of pineapple looks like, I've made this generalization before. It looks like a spiky ball. It's got some rough edges, you know, it's sour. It's in your face. It's a little bit sweet, you know, it's a spiky ball. Whatever, it might be prickly pear, it might be something else, is smoothing out those spikes and just making it really tasty. What is the best beer? I'm genuinely interested. The best beer that I have had, so I rate all of the beers that I have. I check them in on the app called Untappd. And some of the best ones that I've ever had are, we can easily find this. They're from Odell Brewing. They're out of Colorado. Peach Stand Rambler, one of my favorite beers. It's like a blonde ale. There is Firestone Walker. I think they're out of California. Firestone Walker. They make an anniversary beer. Yeah, Paso Robles, California. They make an anniversary beer. I had theirs from 2022, and that was also amazing. A lot of them that I have rated really high are from microbreweries in the state of Wisconsin. There's one from Fifth Ward Brewing, which is in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. There's one from South Shore Brewing. It's South Shore, but it's on the very northern end of Wisconsin, the southern shore of Lake Superior. I had a really good milk stout there. As far as beers that are probably the most accessible for people to have, Kona Brewing out of Hawaii, they have a porter, a coffee porter. I gave that almost a perfect score. Really liked that. Guinness almost has a perfect score. But it's all up to you of what kind of beer you like, you know, BT. It's really the kind of flavors that you're interested in. I'm not super into like really hoppy beers. I like dark beers a lot. I'm not a big amber fan either. I like Irish Reds, which I know are really close to ambers, but that's kind of where my preferences lie. I really like Oktoberfest, even though some people in chat would say I don't because I don't rate them really high when I try them. I don't know. I've had, I think this is going to be like 570, beer number 570 that I'll check in. And I just like to try a bunch of different stuff. Anytime we travel somewhere, I like to get some beer and bring it home. Like I said, I'm from Wisconsin, which has plenty of good beers to choose from too. So yeah, welcome in. Happy to have you. Hope I can influence some people into some different beer purchases with the show. And I do upload all of my reviews to YouTube after they happen live too on Blues Brews Reviews. on YouTube. That's just the name of the channel, Blues Brews Reviews. I don't edit them down. I just take the VOD. Back to this beer. I don't taste lime at all. I thought that maybe that's why I thought it'd be sour, is I thought it would be a lot more limey. I feel like, and I'm not going to do this because I ate a big dinner and I don't want to be hammered for the rest of the stream. I feel like I could chug this, even though it's 6%, because it drinks like it's a fruit smoothie, genuinely. And what's weird is it's not a smoothie sour. It's just they say it's not a smoothie sour. They say it's a fruited sour. It doesn't have lactose in it, which normally I think is what you would use to differentiate a smoothie sour. It doesn't have lactose. No, I mean, everything that's written on here is what's on Untappd, so. I don't know. I'm trying to remember what prickly pear really tasted like. It doesn't taste like pear. Not to be a dick, but isn't European beer better than American? I think that is solely up to your opinion. If you want classic, general, this is beer as beer was made centuries ago, yeah, the Europeans obviously have that down. I think, especially in Wisconsin, there's a lot of good options, and people are really reaching into like realms of creativity for microbrews that, not to say that Europe doesn't have that. I'm sure that there's plenty of microbreweries in Europe. I don't think, other than history, like the historicness behind it, European beers are necessarily better than things made in the United States. Nowadays, with the ability to get ingredients from anywhere, I don't think it really matters where you are. The one thing that does make a big difference is the quality of the water that you use. I know that is a big thing. So, like, if you have access to really good fresh water, your beer will taste better. But as far as getting ingredients, you can get those anywhere now. Any hops that might only grow in certain regions, you can buy online and get shipped to your house. So yeah, like Beck said, location doesn't necessarily make the beer better. It can make the experience better. Like, I've never been to Oktoberfest, but I bet it's amazing. I bet the beers in the beer hall probably taste amazing because you're there for it. You know, that all adds into the experience. And even when I rate these beers, a lot of times I consider, like, you know, would I enjoy this more if instead of sitting in my office, I was like on a lake, on a boat, you know, or sitting after a long day of skiing in front of a fire, you know, like, or with a good meal. Like, I think your environment makes more about how the beer tastes versus the environment that it came from. Yes. Oh, absolutely. I think so. But I think at this point too, BT, that's not enough anymore. Because just because beer has been made for centuries in Europe doesn't mean that experience was necessarily passed down correctly. You know, I think there is some level of variance behind, just because you learned from the masters in Germany doesn't mean that the people who are applying, like, I don't know, it's chemistry, you know, it's like real world chemistry and learning from brewmasters from like the early 1900s in America. I think it's all a matter of opinion solely. Right. And that's it. Does it have this prestige to it? Yes. I will agree with that. You know, like, I've had a beer, I think it was from Lancaster, like Old Lancaster, I think is the name of the brewery, and it like touts itself as this brewery that started in like the 1500s. Like, yeah, there is some, it is kind of cool. to go, I'm drinking something from this establishment that's been around for half of a millennium, you know. But I don't think that that necessarily means it's better. And especially when it comes to rating beers, better is just whatever you like. You know, whatever rating I give this beer today, which I'm going to be rating this one pretty high, you might try it and you might hate it. Everyone has these different tastes. And I think that's why craft beer is a very different thing than like these, I almost want to call them historic beers or, you know, ancient old school beers, is that there's a lot more variance to it now, that I truly believe there is a beer out there for every single person. Even if you don't think you like drinking beers, there is one out there that you will like, because the genre is just so wide that it doesn't matter where you're from, you know, or what the experience of the brewer is. I have my co-host is going to be on here soon. We're going to be playing Minecraft after this. We play Minecraft together. My co-host is going to be on here, and he's going to have a beer that I made. I made a beer a couple weeks ago, and he got a bottle of it, and he's going to have it tonight. I've never made a beer before. I have zero experience. All I know is how to follow instructions. However, I think the beer was pretty good. I like it. I think it tastes pretty good. He might think it's trash. He might also think it's the best thing ever. You know, it's the amount of education and experience, it's all arbitrary. It's also, it could be luck. There's a lot of factors that go into that. Like I said, at the end of the day, it's chemistry. There's a lot of things that can go into what makes a good beer good and what makes a good beer enjoyable. I think that's the biggest thing. Do you enjoy it? Hi, Meg. Hello. Because that's the difference between good and enjoyable. I think this beer's both. I think it's good, and I enjoy it. I've had beers that are just good, but I don't really enjoy it. Like it's good for what it is. You know, it's impressive for what it is. But, you know, I don't know. I think the amount that you enjoy a beer is more important than like where it came from. Because like I've had a couple beers from like these big historical breweries, and they're just not good. And it's like, how, you know, like, how did this even happen is what I wonder sometimes. But that's my tastes. Other people probably love it. You never know. Thank you, Narwhal. I think so. So anyways, that's my, it's not a rant. It was a great segue into a good talking point, BT. I love talking about beer. That's why I do it every week. I think how good a beer is just based on how much you personally enjoy it. And that's why I love going to breweries with people and like getting a flight, like sharing a flight of beer together, because we're all going to want something different. And normally I wouldn't, like, they'd probably order something that I never would. It's like, but that's fine, because then I'll try it, you know? And I would have never thought to try something like, I don't know, it's hard to come up with an example because I'll really kind of drink anything nowadays. But you know what I mean, right? It's like, it's good to step outside of your comfort zone, because I know what I like, but I also, there's a lot of stuff I don't know if I'll like it yet until I try it. And that's why I have this show, is I'll go to stores and I'll just buy beers. Some, it might be like, you know what, I'm going to buy this because I don't know if I'm going to like it. And I'll drink it and I won't like it. And that's fine. It's all about trying them. That's what I like to do. So I appreciate you for being here. I like this beer that I'm trying today. It's pretty good. But I like sours. I like fruity sours. So I think it's pretty good. Anyways, I'm a little over time, so let's get a review written out for this one. And yeah, like I said, I do this every week. Mondays at 7 p.m. Central. I've got a new beer every single week. If you ever have any recommendations for beers that you want to see, let me know and I'll try and find them. We travel quite a bit. We're going down to Chicago end of the month, or end of May. And I'll certainly try and hit up a liquor store and buy some beer that I can't always have access to. My reach isn't very wide, but it's decently wide. We will. We will, Bex. Absolutely. We were actually talking about that. I think it was last night, actually, about how we want to make plans. So I have it on my list to message you, and we can establish something. Sorry, it was kind of a crazy week with all that. All right. So with that said, how would I rate this beer? Someone's saying guava. I don't know if I agree with that. Okay. What would I want to say for this? The pineapple. Let's see, the sour pineapple. I don't know if pineapple's really that sour, but so easy to drink and enjoy. Certainly unique. But it's so enjoy. Okay. One last sip, and I'll read this out to you guys. Semi-lurking because I'm on the TV tonight because PC is broke and going through magic cards. Your PC's broken, Eric? What happened? I mean, even though you said you're lurking, I'm asking you a question, so you have to chat again. All right, chat, here's what I have to say about Forgotten Colors from Modist Brewing Company. Yummy. That's it. No, I said yummy. It drinks like a smoothie sour, really. It's thick and juicy. The sour pineapple flavor really gets smoothed out by the sweet pear and makes this so easy to drink and enjoy. It's certainly unique, but it's oh so enjoyable. I gave this a 4.25 out of 5. I said it was fruity, it was pineapple, sweet, and juicy. Let's get it checked in. Last time when I thought internet was bad, it was actually my motherboard dying. Oh, God. And then your CPU died. Oh, my God. Need to redo your thermal paste, maybe? I don't know. I don't know what to recommend. That's insane. It's not bad internet. Your computer's just killing itself. That was beer 580 for me, chat. 580. We're nearing 600. That's pretty wild. Getting close to 600. Alrighty. Well, I'm going to switch over to Minecraft. We're going to get Chromenos on the line. We probably won't start Minecraft until 8 just because we're going to have to do, like, you know, classic ad breaks. And I know he's going to try out the beer. A power surge. Jeez. Sounds like you need to add a surge protector to your parts list, huh? But yes, thank you guys for joining me for this week's Blues Brews reviews. We'll have another new one next week to try. And yeah, we'll see you guys in a week. Take care.